Okay, good morning. This is the weekly VOLTHA TST meeting. Let's see, today is May 9th. Um, so we have a few updates for let me see, on the agenda. If anybody would like to add any more items, feel free. So we have the problem that Serkant reported for one of the Netsia developers. They were having problems committing code due to an issue with the contributor licensing agreement. He did let me know that there was an update the other day. Um, Individual contributors do not seem to be affected by the licensing problem or by the agreement problem. It's just it's limited to individual contributor agreements. I'm trying to get in touch with the person who originally authored the service that we're or the it's running as a daemon on one of the servers to get some background on a few things, but I haven't heard back from the person yet. But that debugging's still ongoing. Let me see. So Abalash reported a problem with one of his jobs that one of the patches he was trying to build for both the protos was timing out and failing reliably. I've done some local builds on my local laptop, and so far I've not been able to update or reproduce the problem. So it just appears to be in the build system. I did put in a few updates to the make files in the VOLTHA Protos repository. We're now using some of the standard make files, definitions for constants. There's some makefile targets that'll install the Python virtual env. No real change in behavior. We're just using the standard, makefile libraries now to do that stuff. Let me see. One minor problem did surface. One of the dependencies that is a pip module that we install when building Python prototypes. The Google API's Common Protos plugin. We had two different versions in play. There's a dependency in setup py, which handles the package installation. There's a dependency in the makefile, which is part of it's used to construct the virtual env environment. And there was a third version in test pom XML, which is going to be probably a version that's packaged to run testing. The version in POM XML was really old, so that needs to be updated. I don't think that's causing any problems, but it was an issue. But jobs were run in the build system. The job continues to hang. Trying to add some debugging in there to find out if the failure is due to the job in the patch itself, or one of the errors that are showing up is that there are no, it was either JUnit or coverage logs available to be able to scan. The jobs normally run, we produce logs and then publish them, quote unquote, to a place where the Jenkins server can display links to them. The job is failing right now, but I can't tell if it's due, the error that's reported in the logs was due to either the logs not being produced, i.e. the build failed early and we just don't have them. But there's also another possibility that the XML files that configure how and where to publish this content might not have been found, which that doesn't seem like a reasonable problem or a source for the problem, because we would have seen it earlier, but it's something else to look into. Rancher and the Berlin community pod, the fun ones. Debugging still ongoing. I only have minimal updates this week. Apologies for this. I did find on the Rancher system there were references to more IP connectivity problems. It was on 10 something or other. It's in the same area that we were having problems with the community pod. While tracking that problem down, found out there were two VM servers that were having issues last week, so I had to spend some time to debug that in case that was related to the problem. The VM servers are up now, but we still have some of the Rancher issues going on, so that still needs to be looked in. and there were two other server problems that came up that had to spend cycles on. It is what it is, but that's where my time ended up getting consumed last week. So the rancher issue and the community pod issue are still ongoing. And oh shoot, I do owe IP addresses to Bjorn for him to do some debugging on his end. I'll get that together after the meeting. Losing track of stuff. Okay. Just a general FYI, ONF is going to have an offsite meeting next week between the 17th and the 19th. You should be able to still contact us through Slack, but we will be offsite. So just FYI on that. And let me see. I guess so I guess the floor is open if anybody has questions or new agenda items or anything like that.
Joey, have you been able to find anything out about the sync issue between Garrett and GitHub?
I haven't even looked at that yet because the server issues have been more pressing.
Okay.
Yeah, those have been the immediate ones. That's not falling off the radar. It's just a lower priority right now.
Okay.
Hey Joey, Abhilash here. So,
hi.
You want me to rebase and try it out again?
Yeah, if you wouldn't mind, yeah, if you do the merge and just redo your patch again. I don't think it's going to change the error that's being reported, but there is some debugging in there for when setup.py does the package install, and that might be helpful downstream.
Okay, sure. I'll let me do that. And on the any luck on the permissions, right, for the ONF access?
No change. No change on that one.
Okay, so if at all we have to change, we would contact you. You would
Sure.
be able to help us.
Yeah, if you need to have something run, yeah, feel free to contact me. That's not a problem.
Okay, fine. Good. Thanks.
Sure, no worries.
Jay, regarding Abhilash's request, so what exact permissions are needed for that? Abhilash, can you be a little bit more specific?
Now the pipelines, right, for the VGC, it's running only unit, not even unit test, only the build. That's it. Actually, we have to run a few unit tests. Once we get in the unit test, we'll have to update the image once it's done to the Docker Hub. Correct me if I'm wrong, Joey. So that's what we'll have to do. We have to change the pipeline for that. For that, so we don't have permissions. Only Joey as of now has. And also to run the test suits and make changes. For that as well, we are not having permissions.
Just some background for this.
I'm not gonna go.
Whoop, is somebody talking? Yeah, there was a question, or let me see. Just trying to remember background on it. So, there's going to be a question. I asked Timon about it. The underlying problem is if we open up the, in order to do testing, we have to start pulling in Docker images that have been built outside of the build system. So there's some, potential security issues there. And we're just going to see if Timon wanted to open up the ability to have community members upload Docker images and be able to run, initiate test suites without our having to be involved in the middle of it.
Abhilash, your request is this regarding the Volta Go controller tests?
Sure, Dustin. Yeah. Go.
Yes,
Yes.
but the first thing you have to do is to put a Docker image into the Docker Hub. If this is not done, we can't start any pipeline.
Yeah. For that, we need changes in the pipeline of the VGC build. So that again, we don't have permission. So I'll put in a request to Joey I'll raise one task, and then Joey would help to push.
But for the time being, you can push a private image into the Docker Hub.
Okay. Is that fine, Joey? Because that's what the security talked
Oh,
about right now, right?
Yeah, that's pretty much the model we've been following.
Okay.
Yeah,
Sure.
it's,
And
Yeah, we can do that then.
yeah. The only thing is, have TST sign off on, the test runs that are needed. But other than that, that's pretty much the model we've been working under.
Okay. Yeah.
And keep me informed, Abhilash, if you have pushed an image into the Docker Hub, then I can make the changes in the pipeline to test it for the first time, and then we can build an own pipeline for the Volta Go controller. It's very easy. Then the next step, but the first step is the Docker image.
Okay. Sure.
Okay. Fine.
Yeah.
Thanks. Joey, just one remark to the Berlin Community Pod offline mode. Did you read already the mail from Mike from DT?
There was some. How long ago was it? There was some mail earlier.
An hour ago.
I don't think I've seen that one yet. No. Let's see. All right, I'll have to go look at that after the meeting.
He did some interesting things with the pod, tested something, and it looks like the VPN of ONF is down.
Oh, okay.
That's his assumption. Maybe it helps.
Okay.
Okay, so coming back to the point of the VGC pipeline, right? So I think the actions are that, Abhilash, you're going to push a new image to Docker Hub, right? And Thorsten is going to help in creating a pipeline which can use this image and run the first test.
First, I will
Right.
change a pipeline to make the first test, and if it is running, then I will build up an own pipeline for the Volta Go controller.
Okay.
I think it's easy, and it takes an hour for me to make the first step, and then I made the prototype for this test. Abhilash and his folks can expand, extend it, put further test in the same order.
Okay. And but if you create a new pipeline, would anybody be able to trigger that pipeline, or does it still need permissions?
To start the pipeline manually, you need permissions. Furthermore, I will do every 12 hours, or we can every 24 hours, what we want per timer to start it.
Okay, understood.
But we can keep in contact with Slack.
Yeah, sure,
Okay.
Dustin.
Yeah.
I'll keep in touch with you. We can check how often we can try. Yeah.
Fine.
Yeah, I think that would make some progress. Yeah.
Not pirate. Okay. Does anyone else have any other items they'd like to add?
Yes, Joey, this is Serkan. So I don't know. I was a little bit late for the meeting, so I don't know if you have talked about the CLA manager problem.
Yes, I did. I just did an update on that. FYI, we had some server problems last week, so things got a little crazy. So for the CLA blocking, I added a note or your notes that the problem does not seem to be affecting individual contributors, just the institutional contributors. I'm trying to get in contact with the person who originally wrote the service. That's there's some syncing and there's some checking involved with it. I'm trying to get in touch with the person who originally wrote it to get some background on it, to find where the daemon is actually running, because it's not where I'm expecting it to be. And but I haven't heard back from the person yet, so that's still pending.
Who is the person you are trying to contact with?
What's his name? I think it's O'Malley. He's at Intel now. Brian O'Malley, maybe.
Oh, Brian.
I don't have the ticket up right now.
So if there anything we can do to try to debug the problem,
well, right
maybe
now
we can retry the process and see what's happening, so we can see what is the problem. I don't know if that helps.
Oh yeah, we definitely can do that. The main problems right now are having the test pods offline. The problem with the Rancher and the Berlin cluster, or the Berlin nodes.
Is there a connection between the Rancher problem with the CLA problem? I didn't get it. Sorry.
Oh no, the servers that are involved with testing being offline would be a higher priority item than debugging the CLA problem right now. Yeah, because it's all the testing,
Okay,
all of testing is affected by the server, right? Yeah, we definitely can do the debugging steps. It's
Okay. So the problem is that we are ready to submitting the IGMPCA code, but
currently blocked. Yep.
We have a new member assigned to do that job, but he doesn't have the access rights, so he can contribute. If we can solve this problem, we'll try to find something else. Maybe another person can push the code. I don't know.
I was just going to ask that in the interim, maybe I know this is not a good answer, but in the interim, could just put a comment in the put a message in the comments that just says the code is being checked in on behalf of somebody. That'll at least allow you to get the code in immediately.
Yeah, could be. Yeah, could be. Or maybe what about this? Maybe we can have an individual CLA agreement. Can we convert that user's name to institutional one? Is that a possibility? Do you understand what I mean?
I'm not sure, because the approval piece, I'm not familiar with that at the middle, at the right now. So I don't know what fields would need to be added in either Garrett or, what metadata would need to be added in either Garrett or the authentication server to make those attributes available to the commit hook when they're committing code to allow them to do it.
Yeah, okay, got it.
Yeah. I mean, once we debug it and find how to add access for the person, that would also answer the question you just asked as well.
Okay. So currently we cannot bypass that process. Maybe you have some magic and you can give access rights to that user. Is that also a possibility?
Not at the moment.
Okay.
Mhm.
Just checking. Okay, we'll wait a bit more then. I see.
Okay. Yeah, apologies. I know this is taking a little bit to resolve.
Yeah, no problem.
Okay. So I guess, does anybody else have any more other items they'd like to add?
Mm.
Okay. Just a refresher, ONF will be at an offsite meeting next week, this for Wednesday through Friday, 17th through the 19th. We'll still be available, respond to any Slack inquiries or things like that, but we will be offsite. So just a reminder. And let's see, I guess it's 11:24. I guess we can give you a half an hour back in your day. I guess. Okay, thanks.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Bye-bye.
Yeah, bye.
Thanks. Bye-bye.
Bye.